Alright, and welcome to my new video Let's Play. I'm gonna try to do some more parallel worlds, which actually, let me move my camera down. Should be up there in a playlist, probably on the top, I don't know as of yet. But reason why I haven't continued that as much is because unlike my other videos, no one wants to watch that, and if I don't see that many people watching it, it's gonna not make me really want to play it. But feel free to leave a comment if you want to see it, or let me turn the brightness down on here too. Let me know in the comments if you want to see it. Leave likes in the video if you want to see it. And yeah, I would really appreciate if anyone wants to see it actually watch it, or leave some likes on that video so that I know you all want to see it. But anyways, for my 100th video, I'm going to be starting the Metal Gear Solid series, which is going to include the original Metal Gears that is on this game right over here, Metal Gear Solid 3. So the HD collection actually comes with 5 games, not 3. Got the original 8-bit or like original Metal Gear games in Metal Gear Solid 3 as well. Although I'm also going to switch to the other disc like for a certain part of the game, which if you don't know Metal Gear Solid 3, then yeah, I will leave that. I'll leave that to you all wondering. But yeah, let's begin. Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm gonna be going by timeline, so anything that's at the very end of the game, there's a timeline of the whole entire series up to Metal Gear Solid 3. So I would highly recommend you not look at that if you want to be going with the timeline that I'm doing, which I'm doing this game first. So and then after that I will be moving on to Portable Ops, which is the next game after this, which is for the PSP, but you won't need to watch that yet, which is going to be on the PSP, but I can hook my PSP up to do videos and stuff like that, so into the capture card I'm using over here. So yeah, feel free to stick around for that and many more Metal Gear games after that. And I'll try to do a few. I'm gonna be doing online matches for Mario Tennis still. I got it should be before this actually, one more Mario Tennis video that I have planned. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else with Mario Tennis except for online matches and stuff like that. Also, Kid Icarus, I'm gonna try to do online matches, but the online matches I'm going to be doing on stream, so be sure to stick around for that. And like, if you want to do an online match, I will most likely do it on stream, so then I can upload it right away. Because if I'm doing it on my own, like if I save it and stuff like that, I mean the quality might be a little bad, but it still should be good for YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, it would be much easier just to stream it and then highlight it and then upload it to YouTube than having to go through every single thing. And I'm gonna let that phone ring until someone picks it up. But yeah, so let's get started with this game. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's get the game started. I am going to be doing all the games except for maybe these two on the hardest difficulty, because yeah, games from like 90s or earlier were like the kind that were made for like NES and all that sort of stuff were just like hard already, and I think there's like an easy mode on these two. But I'll try the regular modes first, but yeah, that probably won't happen. But the rest of these, we are going to be doing... Wait, I already got Demo Theater, so it don't matter for that. I like Metal Gear Solid... I like Metal Gear Solid 3, but since I already said that and the unlock is getting all the Demo Theater stuff, I'm going to just do Metal Gear Solid 2. Show you what happens on this scene. You get an extra scene or something like that. But anyways, gonna be doing this on European Extreme. This is gonna be my first time going through European Extreme. Game ends when seen by the enemy. Lovely. So do not try to be caught. I'm not going to be screwing around too much in this one. Metal Gear Solid 2, I will be screwing around. Now I'm going to try to be quiet during the cutscenes, but after the end of World War II,
the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
I've heard that a lot. A lot.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Talk about not following an order.
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
In the 3DS version, the cigar flies off the screen, basically. Gotta say, the 3D in that game is pretty good. It is kind of slow, though.
Complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
Can you imagine that?
Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by.
Unlike Snake,
Status okay. All green.
he doesn't collect his cigars.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings and
And fly. God be with you.
Alright, now we go into the backstory.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why'd he want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Could say
Not
so
exactly.
much about
One
that
of his
story, but
conditions was that his family was also to be taken
that would be
safely to the west.
spoilers for
We used a mole to get
anyone
the
that
family
hasn't
out
seen
first,
Metal
and
Gear.
succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
Of course.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my side.
Man, that's gotta suck.
Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Okay, this is our last chance. So, alright. Back into the story. Hello, Action Spud. Could have swore I put it on not available. I guess gotta sign out, but oh well, who gives a crap as of right now. Y'all wanna watch cutscenes? Whoever's still here.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov and bring him back to the west.
Something I didn't say at the beginning. Probably gonna make most huge cutscenes in one video.
If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
So if it's like a 30-minute cutscene, I'm doing just a 30-minute video there.
Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Tuh. And now comes the landing. This is how people get killed. There went the backpack. And there's the cliff. After this game's done, I gotta pop in Subsistence for the funny clips too. You'll see what I mean by funny clips. If y'all never owned Subsistence, then yeah, I will be showing those clips. Won't be as good high definition as this. Be standard definition, but whatever. But they are Jack. Oh, the irony there. Oh, the irony. Look, I'm riding. Yay, everybody loves riding. Give me food. Give me food. Okay. Come on, get up there. Oh. Alright, let's go. Or not. Or not.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom.
Zero.
Oh, and Snake.
Major Tom.
Yeah,
The crew isn't watching anymore. You can take off the disguise now.
good idea. This isn't right.
This isn't
Time for the
right.
snake to shed his skin.
This isn't right. Snake.
Can you hear me, Major Tom? This is Snake. Kept you waiting, huh?
Kept you waiting, huh?
This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food.
Or just kick
You'll
snakes.
also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk.
Call.
If you need to talk to me, use the send function.
Send.
Okay, Snake. Go get your backpack.
Alright. I'll make this video a little more longer, and then after that, gonna stop the video and continue the game. Only say that because I think there's one more cutscene that's pretty big, and after that, it's mostly game. Bam. Gotcha.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake.
Yeah, I did. It was easy.
To equip a weapon,
Oh,
it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer,
Why are you
choose
telling me
weapon
this?
from the backpack.
Why are you telling me
Your
this on
available
this
weapons will be
difficulty?
displayed in a window in the upper left.
You have to beat the
From
game in
that
order to
list,
get this
choose the
difficulty,
weapon
by
you
the
want
way.
to equip and press the enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field
I know in
for a while,
some
your
games,
stamina
if you
will
put it
start
on a
to drop.
certain difficulty, they don't
If
even
stamina
tell
gets too
you
low, it'll affect
anything
your
on the harder
performance.
difficulties.
You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly.
Yes,
Keep
keep
an
the
eye on
stamina.
your stamina so you don't run out.
Yeah.
To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer
What
gun
about
or your
just
knife
kill
to
a
hunt.
snake?
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun.
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor.
Sweet.
However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire.
Aww.
Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The
Aww.
suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste.
P.
The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word.
Okay.
And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and U.S. government will deny any involvement in the affair.
That
Then I'll
sucks.
just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose.
That's gonna help a lot
SIS
for
guidelines stipulate
getting
that
caught
soldiers on covert
and getting
ops like this one
an
issue
automatic
a
game
potassium
over.
cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Very.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
Revival
You
pills
mean that
always
thing they put in my tooth
equipped.
before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct.
Correct.
The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Yes,
Hello, Snake.
she.
I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh?
John
It's
Doe.
John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency
I know what
is
it is.
145.73.
Or at
She's
least
also
the
in charge of
last
recording your
name.
mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's
Yes.
right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it
duh.
was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me. Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's
Unknown,
been 5
unknown,
years,
unknown,
72
unknown.
days and 18 hours.
It's a lot of
You've lost
unknowns.
weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why
Got a
you
lot of
disappear on me
unknowns,
all of a
so
sudden?
yeah.
I was on a top secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake? Oh, right. Your code name is Snake. It suits you well.
Doesn't that
That's
sound
right.
like...
The legendary unit that the
never
boss
mind.
put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Anyone
Gotcha.
that played
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov.
Metal Gear Solid 1
Dr.
should know
Sokolov
that
is being held in
frequency.
an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Yes, you should know that frequency if you've played Metal Gear Solid 1.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Alright, so with that, I'm going to end this video. I'm gonna save too. Let's see. And as always, and I forgot, circle does not mean confirm.
Saving the game, Snake?
So yes, I will be back in a little bit. Part 2. That whole part was like part 1 because that was more cutscene than actual gameplay. Next one should be a lot more gameplay. European Extreme. Yeah, 30 minutes. Ha! Ha ha ha.
Hey, Snake, you ever heard
I'll
of
let y'all
Godzilla
listen
King
to
of
this.
Monsters?
No, what is it?
It's a movie. You haven't seen it?
Nope.
It's about this monster called Godzilla, who grows to an enormous size in a nuclear test and goes on a rampage in Tokyo.
Nuclear test, huh? Then the Marshall Islands must be crawling with giant monsters right about now.
It's just make-believe.
Maybe that's why my pants have been so tight lately.
Snake, it's a movie, not a report out of Los Alamos.
I know. So then what happened?
Godzilla is immune to all weapons, and humanity has no way to stop the monster. Dr. Shirazawa develops a new type of weapon, but meanwhile, Godzilla is getting closer and closer to Tokyo, obliterating everything in its path. It was originally a Japanese movie, but they made an American version, too. I recommend seeing the original Japanese one if you ever get the chance. It's mostly mindless fun, but it's also got a serious anti-nuke message as well.
Where can I see the original?
You'll just have to go to Japan.
Really? That's too bad.
Well, if you wait 40 years, you might be able to see it in America, too.
Why's that?
2004 will be Godzilla's 50th birthday.
You think they're still going to be making Godzilla movies then?
Of course! Everybody loves Godzilla.
You sure know a lot about movies.
I don't suppose you're the movie-watching type, are you?
Not really.
Okay, then I'll tell you everything I know. When the going gets tough, movies can save your life. It's always good to be able to look at things from a different perspective when you get in a jam. That's the magic of movies.
No kidding. Well, I guess it might at least make a nice distraction.
That's the spirit, Snake. Have a little fun.